Okay, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Ryan Embry. I am the brand ambassador here at Travel Media Group. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join me on this webinar this afternoon. Very excited to share this presentation with you all. At the end of this webinar, we'll be providing my direct contact information in case you had any follow-up questions with the content that I will be sharing today. You can also use that chat feature, which is located right there in your toolbar, to type any sort of questions or feedback that you might have. I will be responding to those questions personally following the conclusion of the webinar. Also, be on the lookout, since today's presentation will feature a couple of interactive polls. Would absolutely love your participation in them. So let's go ahead and get started today. And I want to start with a quote from one of the most prominent and accomplished leaders in the hotel industry, Bill Marriott. In this quote, Mr. Marriott talks about when he first started in the hotel business about 50 plus years ago, the first impression customers had of their hotels was formed when they walked into the front door of their hotel lobby. But now in the digital age, the customer's first impressions come when they visit their digital front door, Marriott.com. Today, I would argue that the digital front door has moved again, and a traveler's first impression of your hotel is formed on online review sites like Google and TripAdvisor. Travelers feel that online reviews paint a more accurate picture of a business and are more trustworthy and unbiased than a website created by the business itself. Think about the way we all make online purchasing decisions today. Do we click on a website or visit a product on Amazon if we see a terrible review rating? No, of course not, due to that negative first impression that we receive. So let's talk about the history of online reviews and what makes them so impactful today. And we can't talk about online reviews without mentioning the industry's most popular review site, TripAdvisor. Now, this was TripAdvisor 15 years back in 2005. A lot of hoteliers on this call might have been around when TripAdvisor looked like this and started gaining popularity. Now, this is TripAdvisor today in 2020. Hard to believe, but TripAdvisor has been around for 20 years, dating back to 2000. Yet, other than an upgraded site layout and a logo change, the two images here look fairly similar. This illustrates a problem for hoteliers. Online reviews have been around for over 2 decades, and we're still looking at them the exact same way. The same reports, the same brand tools. Where's the innovation? How are travelers looking at online reviews differently today back than they did in 2005? That's why we created First Impression Score, a brand new reputation metric that takes into account the evolution of online reviews and how travelers are leveraging the hotel's reviews to make their booking decisions. So next, let's take a look at a 1-minute video that explains what this first impression score is and will demonstrate how it can be used to impact revenue in a post-COVID world.
In this digital age, the clearest indicator of a hotel's reputation is found in online reviews. That's why at Travel Media Group, we developed the First Impression Score. It helps evaluate your hotel's reputation based on the experiences guests are having at your hotel right now. The score measures guest experience on 4 major factors. Recent reviews measures the average review score on the first page of your review sites. Review response rate indicates how many of your reviews have responses. Review flow is based on how frequently new reviews about your hotel are posted. And lifetime score is the average score of all the reviews your hotel has ever received. The TMG OneView dashboard compiles this data from each of your hotel's reputation profiles and delivers it simply, so you can identify gaps in guest experience and take immediate action. You can even see the scores for your top 5 competitors, helping you improve overall performance, increase bookings, and keep your guests happy. Get in touch today for a free consultation.
So, as the video mentioned, this metric is designed to evaluate your hotel's reputation in real time and show you how it impacts booking decisions right then and now. That score is compiled by using the 4 different reputation factors that we talked about. Lifetime score, which is the average score of all the reviews your hotel has ever received. recent reviews, which measures the average review score on the first page of your review sites, review flow, which is based on how frequently new reviews about your hotel are being posted, and lastly, review response rate, which indicates how many of your reviews have responses. So while most old-fashioned reputation reports and tools show you only some of these factors individually, first impression score factors all of them into one combined metric. So let's take a look at each one of these factors and demonstrate why it was important to include within this score and how it plays into today's post-COVID world. But first, I want to launch our first poll, which asks, of these factors, which do you think your hotel could improve on? So I'll go ahead and launch this. Again, asking, of these 4 factors that and reputation metrics, which of these reputation factors could your hotel improve on? We know that a couple of these answers are closely related and play together. So you can select multiple choices if you'd like. And I'll go ahead and give everyone just another second to find that poll. I'll go ahead and share the results here in just a second. Okay. So review flow seems to be more than half of the respondents seem to be struggling with that. And then a pretty even split between lifetime, recent reviews, and review response rate. So again, a lot of these have to do with one another. So let's go ahead and see again why we included all of these factors into this first impression score here. Now, the first factor we look at is lifetime score. This is the original reputation metric. For years, this score was the focus and starting point for travelers as they began their booking journey. And as time passed and the number of online reviews continue to grow, this score has become more and more difficult for hoteliers to impact in the short term. Let's look at this Hotel Paradise as an example. Now, this is an example of a report that at Travel Media Group we run for hotels, and it showcases how many reviews are needed in order to impact and improve a hotel's lifetime score. Now, in this example, we see this property currently sits at a 3.76 lifetime score with almost 200 reviews on TripAdvisor. Now, their goal is to be a 4.0 lifetime score by the end of 2020. So improve their score by 0.24. Now, you might see this and hear it and think of it as a modest goal. With a whole year to work with, they should be able to achieve this in no time. It's not even a quarter of a star increase. Yet when we dig into the details of this report, we see that this goal is actually very ambitious and without a reputation strategy could be potentially unachievable. So when we run this report, we see that in order to move that lifetime score up to a 4.0 and achieve their goal, they'll need to generate 44 5-star reviews on TripAdvisor. 44, not 4-star, not 3-star reviews, 44 5-star reviews. And that's assuming that the hotel doesn't need any additional 5-star reviews to offset any negative feedback received during that time. But you might be thinking 44 isn't too bad. The hotel is already has 73 lifetime 5-star reviews. What's another 44? Now here's the problem. The Hotel Paradise only received 8 reviews total last year, only 8. So if we assume that the Hotel Paradise got lucky and all 8 reviews were 5-star rated reviews, if they continued with that pace of only generating 8 per year, it would take them 5.5 years to achieve their goal of a 4.0. 5.5. So that's why in 2020, it's critical for hotels to implement a reputation strategy to speed up the amount of time required to impact and improve these scores. Now, most of these reputation and strategies, including our own at Travel Media Group, have to do with speeding up the next factor in our first impression score, and that's review flow. So review flow is a byproduct of lifetime score and is a metric that brands and other reputations reports have really zeroed in on recently. Some of your brand specific reputation reports might look something like this. showcasing your hotel's reviews in the last 90, 60, and 30 days. But how useful are these numbers and reports when the review flow unexpectedly comes to a halt? Since March, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, your hotel's review flow might have dropped from the high double digits to less than 5 in the past 60 to 90 days. So what sort of takeaways can a hotelier get from a reputation report that looks like this? How do you determine how competitive your hotel is in comparison to others in the market? The problem is when you use reputation reporting like this and illustrate review flow this way, it gives the impression that no reviews equals nothing there. Hoteliers were reading these reports, seeing zeros in their 7-day or 30-day review flow buckets, and assuming that travelers weren't using reviews to make their booking decisions. But online reviews didn't disappear, they froze. The reviews your hotel received prior to the pandemic were the first reviews travelers were seeing when they started researching where to stay when stay-at-home orders were lifted. And depending on what those last reviews look like, impacted how quickly you started to see that increase in occupancy. However, those brand reputation reports didn't show that. They showed zeros with little data and little context for hoteliers. With first impression score, our hotel partners could see how they stacked up against their competition throughout the entirety of the pandemic, which helped them better prepare for occupancy recovery by leveraging their hotel's online reputation. Now, the next factor calculated in our first impression score is recent reviews. This reputation metric has been greatly affected by COVID-19. You see, prior to the pandemic, consumers were traveling at an all-time high and leaving a record number of reviews online. These reviews had a wide range of sentiment and emotion, scattering the reputation rating spectrum from a terrible 1-star review all the way to a perfect 5-star review and everything in between. Today, we've noticed travelers' online reviews to be way more polarizing. People right now feel a responsibility and an obligation to let others know if they felt safe or unsafe during their stay. But they also realize how hard the travel industry is hurting right now and want to do everything in their power to support it in your business. What this causes is your hotel's recent reviews to most likely fall on either one of the extreme sides of the rating spectrum. That guest that might have given you a pass 6 months ago if they noticed that their room wasn't as clean as expected, they're not giving you the benefit of the doubt during a pandemic. What may have been a 2 or 3-star rating will most surely be a 1-star and feature devastating keywords like unclean and not sanitary. That will absolutely have lasting impacts on your business. Or the guest that might have been a little nitpicky about the little details of their stay and left you that neutral or 4-star rating, today they might be willing to overlook those minor mishaps and help your business by leaving you a perfect 5-star review. And with review flow decreasing, like we talked about in the last slide, this is making your hotel's recent reviews exponentially more impactful, increasing your need for a reputation tool and strategy to help you generate and manage these recent reviews when they come in. So once you've received a review online, it's time for the fourth and final piece factored into our first impression score, review response rate. So why include review response rate into our first impression formula? Can something like responding to a review truly have an impact on a traveler's booking decision? Well, let's take a look at an example in today's post-COVID world where that's just the case. Here's a terrible 1-star review posted recently titled "Very Disappointed." It reads, "We've stayed at this hotel before, but this time they really dropped the ball. Check-in was fine, but once in the room, we noticed the coffee maker was missing and the mini fridge wasn't even stocked. Usually this hotel has a great hot breakfast in the morning. This time there was nothing, even though it still says breakfast is included on their website. I couldn't even use the hotel fitness center because every other machine was out of service. Looks like this hotel is falling apart and not being taken care of. Would not recommend." So clearly the expectations of this guest were not met. It was a completely different type of experience than they encountered in the past and felt that the hotel really missed the mark. Without a review response, future travelers' first impression of this property is not good. And this review is most likely costing the business, a hotel business, every minute that it remains in the public eye and unresponsive. But by leveraging the power of review response, the property was actually able to tell their side of the story and justify why expectations were not met. You see, the truth is that all of the issues raised by the travelers were actually operational changes implemented at the property due to COVID-19. New protocols like removing frequently touched items in the room, launching a grab-and-go breakfast at the property, and the new policy updates to promoting social distance in their amenity areas. Without a review response, travelers with future stays would never know this. Think about how many more negative reviews this hotel would have received if they hadn't properly communicated these changes over review response. Travelers are paying more attention than ever before, and this is why professional and timely review response is critical to a hotel's overall reputation and why we included it as a major factor into a hotel's first impression score. So you see, especially today in this post-COVID world, how all of these 4 factors play major roles in your traveler and how travelers are viewing and judging your hotel right now at this very moment. This is a score that's fluid, ever changing in real time as you receive more reviews and you respond to them. So this is an example of what Travel Media Group's first impression score looks like. It scores your hotel on each one of the 4 factors and on each individual site, giving you an indicator of where to focus your team's energy and attention to make sure you're capturing the most revenue. Our hotel partners are utilizing this score on a daily basis to speed their recovery by ensuring they are outperforming competitors in their market and giving off the best first impression, no matter where they're being found on by travelers online today. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and launch our second and final poll, which asks what hoteliers on the webinar would like access to their property's unique first impression score. So I'll go ahead and launch this poll again to get access to your hotel's first impression score. Now, I know some of you had joined a little bit later in the presentation. I know we get this question all the time. Yes, we are going to be sending out a recording of this. You can also find it on our YouTube page. I'll give everyone a quick second to go ahead and engage with that poll. And again, if you're a hotel partner with us, you actually already have access to the score, but we'd be more than willing to show you how you can get that access. And we have a very, very special announcement after this poll, so be sure to stay on here. Okay, I'll give everyone just a couple more seconds. Perfect. So here is my direct contact information in case you had any questions with today's presentation. But I do have a brand new special announcement, and I'm very excited to introduce a brand new way of connecting with me and the Travel Media Group team. In the past, you may have seen or met us at one of the dozens of trade shows and hospitality events that we attend each year. Now, unfortunately, we know this year things are different, but we'd still love the opportunity to get to know you and your hotel business. So on Tuesday, as you can see, August 4th and Wednesday, August 5th next week, we are thrilled to announce we are launching the first ever Travel Media Group virtual trade show booth. So this is how it works. It's super simple. You just visit our website at travelmediagroup.com/trade show, click on the reserve a spot, and pick a time that works best for you. And once you've locked in your time, I will join you in a virtual interactive space where we can just have a conversation just like we would at the trade show. We'll take a look at the specific property, highlight opportunities for you to optimize your hotel's online presence and capture more revenue. We'll also be looking at your first impression score there. So I really hope you have the chance to sign up and I get the opportunity to meet some of you virtually. So thank you so much and have a great rest of your week.